everybody, it is the Monster Maverick Show. That means it's Tuesday, 4 o'clock, on the eastern part of the U.S., which means, whatever it means where you are. That's why I put up those countdown posts. We have a worldwide game, and obviously some people are sleeping right now, but that's going to be true of any time. So, the countdown featuring Peak D is just great for that kind of thing. So, whenever it reaches zero, that's when it's time to join. So we got a few people in here already. We got Krim, we got Foggy Bottom, we got Jacek, we got Paco and Paul, and of course the ever-present Rondon. And Krim is not fake newsing, at least not yet, which is great. Oh, there she goes. She went mute. Revise is in. So I don't know how many of you guys watch the streams or the replays, but last week I forgot to switch my scene on OBS, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So for the people who want to watch along, because I do a lot of browsing on the different websites, Crypto Reaper is in. You can watch that on MSP Waves, or you can watch it on Vim. And Ron, is the live stream working on ThreeSpeak or no? Last time I checked, it wasn't, but I can never remember. So, Rondon is typing. Yeah, so mspwaves.com/watch. That's the best place to watch, and you can see my pretty face or not so pretty face, whatever. But you can see my screen, and that's way more important. And MSP Waves updated the server to a US based server, and ThreeSpeak is working, great. So we're now on a US-based server instead of a German-based server. So since I'm in the US, the chat already seems faster to me as far as, but the lag between when I speak and when, in that case, Ron was typing. So that's pretty cool. Anywho, let's just dive in, because we got a bunch of stuff going on. So, the thing that people have been talking about in Discord lately has been, there's been a whole argument today over how much is really recorded on blockchain. And, I'm not a blockchain expert, but I have a, better than layman's understanding, I think. And I think the concerns are, valid, but kind of like overblown. That's just my take on it. Do with that what you will. The more relevant or more important topic that has been in the Discord has been the state of prices. I got a few more people filing in here. So as you all know, we have I've coined a new term. I call it whumping, which is whale dumping. So, Jarunic, J69, they're continuing to sell, and prices are going lower. So I found out today J69 actually has some untamed cards that he's selling. So that was, an extra pressure on the market that I didn't think he had much in the way of untamed. And it's not a lot compared to his other holdings, but there is some. So the thing about the listings, the market cap listings, is that if you go to, whether you go to Peak Monsters or whether you go to the bot in the Discord with the market cap command, that's based on asking prices pretty much. So they've got in Peak Monsters, the way they do it is they call it best listed price and then market price. So best listing price is just whatever the ask is, and the market price is whatever, if there's a more recent trade that's between the bid and the ask, and of course bids don't exist right now, then it'll go with that price as a market price, which is, I think, more accurate. So, but either case, the upper limit on that number is the asking price. So when somebody like J69 lists a whole bunch of cards for less than whatever was there before, then that lowers the value on that number. Either, whether it's the Splinterlands bot market cap command, or whether it is, the Peak Monsters calculation. So, that doesn't really necessarily mean that there's less value there, because if there wasn't trading, then that number was just a random guess anyway, because it was based on a non-trading list price. So, people are very, especially the newer people, are very concerned about these drop in prices, and I'm going to be the one to tell you that don't worry about it. So this is going to be the time that you're going to look back on in another 2 years, let's say, and you're going to say, wow, I wish I'd bought more during that time. Because, you know, what what do you think is going to happen in the next couple of years? Are prices going to go to zero? Well, no. I mean, even at his most concentrated amount, J69 had about 10% of the market value of cards, and now he's down to 4 or 5% because he sold a bunch. And that leaves me at number two, by the way. I have about 2%, I think, right now. So, is it going to go to zero? No. So I'd just say, don't worry. Pick up cards if you want to pick up cards. And true value is in people playing, not in people trading. That is absolutely true. And that is a theme that I have been harping on, that, everything is about user growth. The viability of the game and the future of the game is dependent on that. So, provided that's the case, lower prices are actually better for getting more users. Like, what's the cure for high prices? High prices. What's the cure for low prices? Low prices. That's an old commodities trading joke. So, so, this is, in my view, this is a positive development, even though it is painful to look at a number that is now smaller on the screen. So I was mentioning to Buffy earlier. He's saying how his collection value went from 3,000 down to 2,700 overnight, something like that. And I said, well, if it makes you feel any better, my numbers are down 40,000. So, that 52 number used to be like 96, right at the beginning of Untamed, that all-time high, and it was getting back there. It was back to 70 something, 2 weeks ago. But then this whole thing started. So, is what it is. It will go forward. And once this washout is done, those cards that were held in one hand will now be held in many hands, and I think that's actually a better thing for the Splinterlands, economy. So Nylon, I really don't know how to pronounce your name. I see you all the time. Says I'm not worried. Picked up some max summoners for a fraction of regular price. Time to move higher in the ranks. That's exactly right. So, I actually had somebody message me over the past week since the previous show, and somebody was saying, like, well, I have some packs, and I have a couple cards. What should I do? I said, well, if you just want to sell, then that's okay. You can just sell, because this person is not really not a player. It's just like a passive investor kind of type. And he asked me, it's like, well, what would you do? I said, well, I would just sit on it and wait for all this to work its way through the market. And then once those cards and packs are distributed wider, then the marginal tendency of selling is going to be much less, which means basically less supply, higher prices, after all this is done. So, I am very optimistic about the future. And, Splinterlands is doing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline. And so he's asking, well, what do you see as a positive in the next year? So I said, it's like, well, there's going to be the land expansion. So we're going to have a whole new gameplay mode. We're going to get items and spells, which is tied in with that. We're going to have guild wars. We're going to have, boss battles. We're going to have, improved user onboarding. The mobile app is going to be in the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. Possibly that app will be installed by default on Samsung phones, which, if that happens, that'll be, huge. So, and also, let's not forget, at least my expectation is that crypto prices, namely led by Bitcoin, will be higher in a year than they are today. So, all of those are huge positive factors to the Splinterlands ecosystem and the value of that market. So, I'm optimistic. And yes, short-term lower prices, can be sad when you look at that number go down. But other than that, it's kind of a non-event as far as I'm concerned. But I know people are still going to freak out, so is what it is. Similarly, the price of crystals has been dropping. So I think we have Gerbot in here. This is all assumes they don't lose everything in the lawsuit. Yeah, I am not concerned about that. Everybody panic. So, Gerbot, oh, he's added colors now. That's fantastic. So, so yes, lower prices is better for bringing in people who can then buy cards, at those lower prices. So we can see from the chart though, Dark Energy Crystal price is down. So right now on Hive Engine, let me just do a refresh. Let's see. Let's go to Wallet and find deck in this giant list. I really should use the decks on Steam or on Leo Finance, but it is what it is. So right now we're at 43 cents per thousand on Hive Engine, and on Steam Engine we are at Zach about 5 million crystals today. That's pretty good. So Steam Engine's at 44 cents per thousand. So about the same. There always is a little bit of arbitrage in there between the two different markets there, but the people who really have that arbitrage buttoned up are pretty good at keeping those prices the same. But either way, so the the price has gone down. It's not quite at the all-time lows as we saw in March, but the the prices are getting down there. And like we saw in March, when the price gets low enough, people start flipping those into packs real quick because, why not, right? So, I've been buying, here and there. I'm actually buying on both. So I've got some orders in here on on Steam Engine. I've got a few orders in on Hive Engine. So, I think I bought 150,000, something like that this morning. Not as much as Zaku, obviously. He bought 5 million. Crypto Reaper says, yeah, the second highest complaint I hear from new players, one is hard to figure out, no tutorial, which I believe is being fixed, and two is too expensive to be competitive. So yeah, the expense thing, it's a real thing because, a competitive deck right now is what, like $4,000 even today? So if we go to Monster Market, we've got a nice little calculator. Let's do that. Tools, cost estimator. So this is a pretty handy little thing if you're looking at like buying a deck or building a deck. And let's say you want to do, reward and untamed, and we want to do everything. Well, let's just leave out dragons for the moment, and we'll do silver and exclude legendary summoners. Okay, so calculate cost. So 350 is what they are estimating, even now with prices down, however much percent. So that's a lot to drop on a brand new game. Now, once people are into it and they see how everything works and they're experienced and they understand the fun of it, then yeah, people are spending that all day long. So so for the very new player, the idea of that is kind of, jarring, I guess. So, yeah, I think having the tutorial and having all that worked out and lower prices is all good for user adoption. And that broader user adoption means more people in the ecosystem, more buying, more selling, more battles, more everything. So that's a bit excluding legendary summoners and dragons removes about 99% of the fun. And that's true. But it also removes about like 70% of the cost. So if we include dragons, let's just do it for funsies. If we include all that, calculate. Not as bad as I thought, at least not for silver. So here it's up to 500. So basically a third more expensive if you include those two things. And the legendary summoners are definitely not required if you're in a silver league. If you're in diamond and champion, yeah, absolutely. But there's different levels for a reason. And of course, we are going to get the this is the champion deck that was 5th last season. Yeah, $3,600. Yeah, that's about right. So I said 4, it's close. Cheap gold dragons. Yeah, it's cheap everything right now. I'm telling you, you're gonna look back on this time 2 years from now and kick yourself for not buying more. So I am undecided. And Jessica, I don't know why you can't paste images. They work fine for me. It might be a role thing. Talk to Ron Down about that. So like for me, I am the second holder right now, and after J69 is done selling, I'll be the first largest holder. We gotta neglect aggro because he doesn't count. He's- he's an insider, so I'd be the number one outsider. Let's call it that. So I honestly I want to buy more cards, and I have a bunch of decks sitting around, and I just don't know if it's actually beneficial to the game for me to have more cards, because I've been going through mine and setting up accounts for the Deck 404 system, which is the new version of the Herons Unlimited, and I got a ton of cards out there, so I'm so far I'm up to like 40 accounts that I'm running, and that's varied levels. Some silver, some gold, some diamond, but it's a lot. So you know, I actually think that it'd be better just for everybody else to buy cards rather than for me to buy cards. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong about that. I bet aggro would disagree and say just buy more cards, but I don't know. So I do enjoy getting my airdrops on the Untamed packs, and where are we at with that? So let's see. We are at 28,000 right now. 72,000 to go on the next airdrop. So, the guys who are trading the pack tokens are actually doing a pretty good job about keeping things in line with the deck price. So like Untamed is going for 82 cents, and the Dark Energy crystals are going for 43 cents per 1,000. So let's do a little quick math. So we go 0.004, no, one more zero, 43 times 2,000. So that's 86 cents. So that's right in line. Now, what is kind of interesting is that people are neglecting the future value of the airdrops. And I mean, granted, there's only a few left, but there's still something. So I'm a little surprised that there's no discount, no significant discount. I mean, there's only 4 cents discount right there. So regardless, you can pick up a pack of Untamed for 86 cents right now. And, when the price of Dark Energy crystals gets low enough, then that arbitrage or that flip, will be that much more attractive. So, the time will come, and we'll see another spike like we did, after the all-time low in the previous March. Let's see. Jarvie made the same argument for letting new players buy first. Definitely a valid idea. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I bought, another 10,000 packs, would it really change my collection or my life or anything? It's like, not really. So it'd be fun to have. And, when we get the crypto boom in the next, 12 months or 18 months, then, I'll be saying, oh, I could have had more. But, is what it is. So I'm okay with promoting the health of the game over, a little bit more for me. So I have that luxury at this point. And I don't know if it's making it into the microphone at all, but if you hear any squeaking in the background, those are my new baby quail chicks. They just hatched over the last couple days. So I've got 5 little quail over on my table about 10 feet away from me. So not quite sure if that's coming through or not. Yeah, so that's kind of the state of the thing. We got the whumping, the whale dumping, and I think, overall it's going to be a good thing when we look back on it in the future. So there were some other developments I did want to talk about. We got this article here, the sign up promo deal. I thought this was kind of interesting, and I don't know who Costanza is. He might be one of the Splinterns, but he set himself a goal of onboarding 100 active players. Every month I'm putting up a win-win deal for new players who want to test pop-ups, who want to test out the game. This is what I have available on offer for the coming 31 days. And dumping is great. Please do. Yes. So people who sign up with his referral link, he's giving away stuff. And I think it's great that we're seeing people out there promoting, because obviously referrals, word of mouth is always going to be your best marketing, and it's difficult to make that the only marketing, which is an issue, um, but it is definitely the best when it works. So yeah, I mean it's great to see stuff like this. Please dump the cards I want to buy. That's right. Yes, dump selectively to me, right? Um, so there was that. We had an update from Monster Market. That was pretty cool. They've been kind of slow on the publications lately, but here's that link. And they got some transaction history. They got more market usage data. They have updated their tools that they already had. So all very cool stuff. So check them out if you haven't before. Personally, I use Peak Monsters mostly for my buying and selling. Just is what it is. It's what I'm used to. But Monster Market has definitely come up in a big way. And then we had this guy. Um, this European date format just kills me. We had introduction and mystery potion rewards. So this is Splinter Stats. This is Kyokiz's stuff. So it's publishing stuff about rewards or mystery potions and the rewards, and whether it's a net sink for dark energy crystals or a net gain for dark energy crystals. So it's just an interesting thing to talk about, because part of the drop in price of dark energy crystals is obviously that supply is overwhelming demand, which means inflation is too high given the current level of demand to maintain prices, and that's all understandable. So one of those sinks is the mystery potions. So you can follow along with this account to check out which whether that's being net effective or not. Um, let's see. I got a big long list of stuff from Carrie Allen about new tutorials and stuff. There are a few going here, and I have not watched these, so grain of salt and all that. But here they are. So you can check them out, and we'll see we'll see what we see. I'm not gonna play them right now, but you can check those out and see if they need some feedback. Let's call it, right? There is no failure. There's only feedback. That's one of those NLP truisms that they have. So we got that. We got Splinter Stats. We got. Why did I keep this here? Ah, yes. So earlier today, Zero Hedge came out with this post. New update about deck purchase from Monster Market. We plan to add Hive as card purchase currency. Oh, that's pretty cool. So, one of the things that one of that changes when the game migrated to the Hive blockchain is the only supported in-market currency is Dark Energy crystals, and now Zach is saying that they're going to add Hive as a supported currency. So that's going to mean you're going to have to be some kind of market maker with Dark Energy crystals, which in itself is probably a good thing for that market. I mean, there are a few people trading, automated, spreads and things. But the more the better. The more liquidity, the better. So Zero Hedge came out with this tweet a couple hours ago, but that Trump says Americans will get another stimulus check, and I don't know what Next Star is. I don't know if that's the news feed or what. So Zach, so they're gonna use Hive to buy Dark Energy crystals and then transfer those Dark Energy crystals to the seller, which is what I would expect. But that means being active in the Dark Energy crystal market, which great. More buyers and sellers, more liquidity, more price discovery, all to the good. So, if we get another round of stimulus, what are you gonna do with your stimulus checks? Obviously, some people who have been hit hard by the lockdowns and everything, it's gonna go to food and rent and boring stuff like that. But if you're one of the people that's kept your job, you can use that money to buy more cards. So, That should help with the whumping that's going on. Another interesting thing that's been kind of a point of contention, let's say, with the community on the Discord is feedback or communication. So Agro announced, I think it was yesterday, that he's going to start doing a weekly AMA series on the Discords, just like they did before. Same channel and everything. People type in questions and hear replies by voice, but it's going to be weekly now. And they said they're going to get Matt on there, Yabba, at least once a month. So that is going to be fun, I think, and people will get all their direct from the horse's mouth kind of questions answered. So that is sort of the state of things. So we got, let's see, Gandalf says, here's the part where I say what I think about Discord. Yeah, every platform has its adherents and its detractors, and there's actually a great XKCD for that. Let's see if I can find it. Is it this one? Yeah, here we go. So our team stays in touch over IRC. As in 2004, 2010, our team mainly uses Skype, but some of us prefer to stick to IRC. 2017, we've got almost everyone on Slack, but 3 people refuse to quit IRC and connect via Gateway. Then 2051, all consciousnesses have merged with the galactic singularity, except for one guy who insists on joining through his IRC client. I just have it set up the way I want, okay? So yeah, it's like what Churchill says about democracy. It's the worst system except for all the other ones. Discord audio definitely has problems, like the calls and things. I had a call fail earlier today. They know my story. They're on to you. So yeah, I mean, I was an old school, IRC2, text client kind of guy. Way back when I ran Merc for years and years, and I had all my custom colors and whatever set up. But it was 20 years ago, and Jesus, that was 20 years ago. That's time flies, So I've met my wife on IRC. Well, that I did not do. I did meet a girl one time on IRC, but she did not become my wife. Is the code for Discord bridge available? So yeah, I'm sure there's a client or a bridge between the clients, whatever the proper terminology is, to get there. But yeah, IRC can do everything, right? It can read webhooks and bring everything in. It's called Banner Bridge, apparently. So great. So you can stay on your IRC and have your own custom channels on your own custom server and just import everything that way. I'm happy that works for you. But other people move on, basically. So there was something interesting that I noticed. I was checking out the rewards cards with the last season ending. Then the ones that are in print. So the Boogeyman is the earliest one that is currently in print, I guess. So let's go back to the market. If we look at rewards and we put them in ID order, we can see, scroll down. So Manticore's gone, Furious Chicken's gone, Fallen Spectre's gone, Beetle Queen's gone, Naga Windmaster's gone, and Boogeyman is the next one. So good Boogeymans are rare. Okay. And then we have Spirit Miner's a legendary, Battle Orca is rare, Fire Spitter, epic. Give me a common. Come on. Here we go. So Etten Spearman is a common rewards card, and it's still under the beta schedule of 505 cards to get to max level, level 10 common. But then, as we go on, if I can find one here, Baby Unicorn. Baby Unicorn still beta schedule. Gelatinous Cube still beta schedule. But we were coming up on Screeching Vulture's beta schedule. I should just restrict this to commons, huh? That'd be easier. Commons. Okay, so Barking Spider. Barking Spider is the first common that's on the Untamed rewards schedule, meaning you only need 400 instead of 505. And then from there on out, everything's untamed. And that affects Dark Energy Crystal value, and it also affects the combined rates of commons. So that's just an interesting little thing to look at. Barky Spider is not a great example because it's not a terribly expensive card anyway, but something like Nectar Queen, is used quite a bit, especially in the lower levels, is going for 1 cent, and you only need 400 of them. So if we go to bulk, 400 is going to cost five. What do we got here? It's 571. So compare that to Baby Unicorn, where it's cheaper. It's at 0.8 of a cent, but it's still cheaper because nobody uses Baby Unicorn. But the point is, you need less common cards now for the rewards cards, for the rewards commons at least. The rare epics and legendaries remain the same as far as combined rates, but the commons you're going to have a little bit of a card discount there. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. I do like to look at the rewards cards quite a bit, especially what's getting close to being out of print. And this is Kyokiz's, I don't know if it's a calculator, it's a display that we have. You can always check on the status of rewards. So the Boogeyman's at 80%, Spirit Miner's at 90%, just because of the change in print rates for legendaries compared to other things when factoring in the 10,000 versus 100,000 kind of deal. Battle Orca's at 80%, and the Kraken is at 80% or 83%. So, and then it's down from there. Zalran Afreet is 82%, Serpentine Mystic 72%. So we probably won't see those come out in this season. They won't go out of print, but probably next season they'll be gone. And just a reminder, if you're going to burn your rewards cards, or any cards, better off to send them to Deck 101 instead. And I was talking with Gerber, we came up with a new promotion. So every day, people are sending their stuff to Deck 101 for burning. And we give them a 1% bonus, basically. So you get more Dark Energy Crystals if you send them to Deck 101 than if you burn them yourself. Great. In addition to that, every card you send in is going to be a ticket in a raffle. And every day we're going to pick a raffle winner, and the winner of that raffle is going to receive an orb. So orbs are out of print, and every 24 hours, or let's call it once a day, we're not going to do it exactly 24 hours. Once a day, we're going to pick somebody who has sent in cards, and they're going to get one of those orbs. And who knows, maybe you get a gold foil, Minotaur Warlord or Lord of Fire or something. So very, very much worth your while, basically. A little added fun, a little added spice to the whole thing. And if you go and buy them on Hive Engine, let's see what orbs are going for. Orbs are going for $1.17 right now. So that doesn't mean it's worth $1.17, because it depends on what's inside. Once you open it, or you could just hold it and speculate on the price of orbs going up, over time. So, just thought I'd make that announcement. It's fun stuff. Now, not that it's open yet, but we're not sure how long we're going to continue this promo. It'll be at least the end of this current season, which I guess is another week or so. We were at 8 days and 11 hours on that, so we'll continue it for at least 9 days. After that, though, maybe we'll renew it, maybe we won't. So, it's your behooves you to to get your burns in now. So, where's my Elmo burning gif? Let's see, Elmo burning. There we go. I just love that. I love that little guy with the burning fire. I remember in whatever year it was, 95 or 96, the Tickle Me Elmo craze that was the malls. Anyway, crazy times. But I like seeing him on fire. That's good stuff. Yeah, so the new rewards cards that came out at the beginning of end of last season, beginning of this season, have been doing, I think, really well. If we go over to the market and let's just look at the regulars. Regular, do. So let's go to like sandworms are 8 cents. Actually, more than that. So their sandworms are 15 cents a piece because they're that huge sneak ability, and even at level 1, it's got a 5 attack. So very very useful, especially in slow matches. Phantasm is going for 1.5 cents, and Ant Miners are going for 2.2, or really 3. That 2.2 is a little bit slow. Very very handy to have a scavenger ability and some shields. So that's all good. And scavenger shields makes for interesting takes. Even though they start off at low health. If we go on to the rares, we can see that. Let's see, any standouts here? Well, I mean, not really standout, but I mean, all of them are just doing well. So Silver Shield Sheriff, 20 cents. Grim Reaper, 17 cents. Phidias Rage, 17 cents. Captain's Ghost is 15. Kelp Initiate is 14. Gloriox Soldier is 11. Centauri Mage is the low man on the totem pole at 11 cents, which is a little surprising. But, I thought that repair ability would be quite useful with Earth. And on the epics of the new guys, can't seem to aim my mouse quite right. We've got Kretch, an epic summoner going for 45 cents. Onyx Sentinel is actually doing better, which is surprising because, summoners usually do really, really well compared to monsters. But, the market is speaking. Onyx Sentinel is going for 64 cents right now. Excuse me. So, I mean, I would say just, good job by the team. They did a bang up job of releasing the new summoners. We got the Spirit Druid and Bila the Radiant, $1.23 on Bila, and Spirit Druid is $1.90. So people like them. People are buying them. And let's see what if we just do all of them. What are we looking at here? So total value is 440,000 using market prices, which is quite a bit. That was one of the points that Agrid made on his roundtable discussion on that crypto show. That they give these away for free, and the market values them at several $100,000. Kind of amazing when you think about the value that is created through subjective wants. So very very cool stuff. So let's take a look. Buy my Golden Druid. Yeah, at Steam Dan, I think you had it up for 100,000 Dark Energy Crystals. Is that right? Hive data. There we go. 100,000 deck. That's right. I think that's actually a pretty decent price. So that's, call it $43 US. And if we look at the golds, gold, legendary. So that's actually half price compared to what's on the market right there. Maybe not quite half price, maybe 60%, 65%, something like that. But that is Steam Dan's own card there. So, Yanos or Yano 3 or whatever you say, $81 is the next one. So if you're in the market for a Golden Druid, then talk to Steam Dan there. He's got one for sale. And so if we look at battles, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's do beginning of the year. How about that? Yep, January. Yeah, it's fine. $78 for one. That's right. So here we got battles. Obviously, we get the spikes for for season endings. But we see that nice upward trajectory that started back in, let's call it beginning of April. Just a nice smooth upward trajectory, which I like to see. As far as users go, we got, if we include all the transacting, so let's just look at that for a second. So all transacting, we're at, average of 4,200 over the last 6 months or 7 months, 6 months, right? No, whatever. Uh, but again, a nice upward trajectory starting at that same time in April. So generally, I just look at the all real players metric, which is at 5,500. You know, so we're at all time highs. On a seasonal kind of basis, which I like to see. Purchases, cards. Seeing a lot of delegation. A lot of that is me. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Let's see. Packs. Booster packs. We got that huge spike from, I guess that was Untamed opening. Or, no, that was not the Untamed opening. That was the promo, the Halfling promo. But, yeah, so, we're cruising along with the summoners. So, or sorry, not with the summoners, with the packs being sold going towards airdrops, which will be legendary summoners. So there was a tweet out there that that Splitterlands put out. And let's see if I could find it here. Nope. I'll just do a find. Oh, come on. It was Splitterlands, I think. There we go. Lightning crashes as turbulent waters of the sea call you to greater adventure than ever. With a deep breath, you steer yourself into the storm's darkening maw. Your boat will be tossed wherever it may, but you will fearlessly quest onward. So I like this tweet a lot because this reminds me of the legendary summoner lore that I submitted during the Kickstarter. So, I just had this thing where when I have packs and I open them, I just get a lot of water splinter. I don't know why. I don't plan it. But I end up with more water than anything else. So way back in the old days, I had 100 packs and I had 2 gold foil frost giants. This is before we knew that frost giants was like the worst of all the legendary monsters. But I was super excited. I made a post about it and I said something about luckiest pull ever in the history of Splitterlands or Steam Monsters at that time. Whatever it was. So when I had the opportunity to submit lore for a legendary summoner from the Untamed Kickstarter, I decided to lean into it and just do a water summoner. So the idea behind the lore was that this guy he's gone through training. He's in the water splinter and he's doing his summoner thing, and he's just kind of average, right? But then he goes out in the ocean, he hits into a storm, he falls underwater, and he's drowning. So in that moment of drowning, as he's about to black out and drown, then that panic of death creates the inspiration to reach new heights of summoning ability. So my idea was that your friendly team loses something, whether it's like 1 health or whatever, and then gains extra on the magic. So that was the idea. I don't know what the team is doing with that, but I think this tweet and this image kind of is playing into that. So that's what I'm gonna do until that's what I'm gonna go with, at least until proven otherwise. So we'll see how that goes. And I thought I replied to this. Oh yeah, I did. I said, sounds like a certain legendary summoner I know. Crypto Reaper is asking, are you planning on making Deck 404 guilds yourself or any new updates on dev? So yeah, we are building those out. We're currently testing, having mass accounts and making sure there's no glitches and everything. But we are going to be holding public acceptance to both the players and the owners until we know what the deck floor system is going to be. Because what I don't want to happen is I don't want people to set up a bunch of accounts and then the deck floors come out and realize that, oh, this account I set up is only going to get me to Silver 2 when it used to get me to Diamond 1, and I I calculated my my returns based on that diamond one assumption, and then have to go back and undo everything. So I don't want to deal with that hassle. That's a common theme you'll find in all the projects I'm in. I set things up so I don't have to deal with hassle. So, with that major change coming, we're going to wait until after that is done and implemented, which hopefully won't be long. My optimistic guess is 2 to 3 weeks. So, we know we're going to have at least 7 days from Splinterland's policy, in that they will give us 7 days notice of major changes. So we know it's at least that long, but I don't think it'll be too much longer than that. And then once that's done, we still have a couple of decisions to make as far as whether we're going to weight rewards. Because the current thinking is that we're going to have X number of players, and those players are going to hold. They're basically going to be ranked based on how much they contribute in playing ability to the rewards, and then the rewards will be pooled and then split out amongst that ranking. And the reason to do that is just to limit the variability. So, it does happen that if you're in gold 3 and you get however many rewards cards it is, and one of those is a gold foil legendary, then yeah, you made out like a bandit. That does happen, but most of the time it doesn't, right? So so in order to even everything out, so nobody has like a terrible experience and nobody has a fantastic experience, the rewards are gonna the 50% of the rewards that are going to players is going to be divvied up according to their contributions, basically. And we're thinking about doing the same thing along the lines of the owners contributing cards. So what that does is it gives us an interesting opportunity to allow people to contribute less than full playing accounts. So, and a lot of this will depend on how the deck floors are implemented. So it might be, who is we? We is me and Gerber mostly. Eco Instant is also contributing some advisory, or Farmer Eco, depending on where you know him from. So, depending on how the deck floor system is implemented, it could be that if we basically tokenize all of the contributions, then we can average all that out. So it might be that, okay, so we have X number of cards in this particular account. It's like we need these 14 other things. And now, because we're tokenizing the whole thing, then it opens up that opportunity to owners saying, hey, we need somebody to contribute whatever, a Zalran Efreet, max level. And then you can fill that need and get credit based on that contribution of a single card, or 14 cards, or however many cards, rather than the account level. So, that smooths out ROI for owners and allows us to fractionate those different things that wasn't available before. So under like the Heron system, you had to have a whole deck one way or another. If we tokenize it this way, then you don't. So that is interesting. And I think that might be a lot more attractive to people, because like if you have your own playing deck and then you have like 3 other cards, it's like, well, what do you do with those 3 cards? You could sell them, you try to rent them, if and when rentals really make a comeback, and or maybe you could do this and just earn some passive ROI from them. So I think that is going to be probably the way we go, but no promises. So that's my development update on Deck 404. So far our testing is going well as far as the distribution mechanics are working. We had a couple hiccups, but those are fixed because Gerber is amazing when it comes to coding and updating and supporting and all those kinds of things. So yeah, that's the story. We're going to wait until deck floors are out, and then we will implement based on whatever that is. So I hope that answers your question. and Crypto Reaper's typing something. It's always so like, do you want to wait until somebody finishes typing, or do you just want to keep going? What if I loan you guilds? Do I get tokens for that? Yeah, probably. We can make something like that work. Because the for anybody who doesn't know, you should go to, if you're not in a guild, go to the guilds tab, and I'm in Immortal Gods. But if you go over um, to the idea, or the main page, is it on here? Oh, you've got to, can't do it in this account. But basically, as your guild levels up, then you get a bonus to Dark Energy Crystals. You get a discount on potions. So those are the benefits. So if you're in a guild, then the team will make more Dark Energy Crystals. So everybody in the guild will make more Dark Energy Crystals, and that delta could be something that we work out. Like half of the savings or half of the increase would go to the guild owner, and half of the increase would go to the accounts, something like that. I don't know. No promises, no warranties expressed or implied, but just just talking out loud here, which is what I do for the Monster Maverick show, is I talk out loud. Let's see, we got. Oh, here we go. That's the chart I was looking for. Yeah, level 1. You get you need 15 quests. You get a 1% Dark Energy Crystal, and all the way up to level 10, you get a 20% Dark Energy Crystal bonus. I didn't realize it was that big, but that's great. So I'm in Immortal Gods, which is the #1 guild. Not bragging or anything. I'm just saying, because most of that is not me, but it is a level 10, so I guess I get a 20% bonus on Dark Energy Crystals. I also use a lot of gold foil. I also use a lot of alpha. I use some alpha gold foil, so I get bonuses stacking pretty good on the Dark Energy Crystal generation. And I'm only earlier today I was like 113 or something. I dropped to 133. This is what happens when you only play quests. But yeah, I still make however much I make a day. I don't really follow it exactly, but it's good stuff. I mostly play for the cards, honestly. I like the rewards cards. I like when the chest is shaking and it's going to be a legendary. Yeah, I'm terrible. I only have 56 battles this season. That's not a lot, but I won 44 of them. That's pretty good. I had a streak of 20. I was on a streak for a while. I had like three daily quests in a row that I won. But I was up to like 42 something, just over the line into Champion 2. I was like, well, I'm having a good streak. Maybe if I continue, I'll get up to Champion 1, but, later today. And then the first match I tried, I just got my ass kicked. So I was like, forget it. I'll play more quests tomorrow. I play a lot better with the focus of having a quest, with Splinter or whatever. Ron's at 637. Nice. There used to be a way to look at somebody's rank in this list. There used to be a little search box, but I guess that's not there anymore. Or you can do it here. Ron Don. That's a way higher number than 133. It sure is. So Rondon's not in a guild. He's not getting a Dark Energy Crystal bonus to his battles. And here, like, he won 27 crystals, but he could have won more. If he was in a level 10 guild, he could have won whatever 120% of that is. So 32, 33. I'm just saying. You could have done that. And we are coming up here on the end of the hour. It is something 55, depending on what time zone you're in. Let me know. I'm not in control of my guild, so I am not a guild leader. I'm just in the guild, and it's full. And you can join one of Crypto Reapers. So we got about 5 minutes left, and then so what Rondon is referring to, and I will state this publicly, no problem. We did a challenge match in Silver League, and he beat me one time. So guilds cost to set up. You have to pay in Dark Energy Crystals. I think if you all the way to level 10 is like 2.7 million crystals, something like that. But some guilds have a fee to join, some don't. It just depends on how you have it going. And like I said, we're coming up on the hour. Next up, we got Scaredy Cat Guide here. He has the next show, which follows right after this one, called the Scaredy Cat Investor Show. and he talks about all crypto stuff, charts, and things going on in the industry. And looks at sometimes he looks at stocks, things like that. We've been talking a lot in the Leo Finance channel about different strategies and options and things. Tesla's been going nuts. So I don't know if any of you guys are in Robinhood, but you are part of the problem if you are. Maybe gambling on Tesla. That's right. So, I'll let him tell the story, on his show. But he took a brave stand earlier today on Tesla, fighting the herds of Robinhood traders. So I wouldn't do it, but some people live for that gambling high, I guess. My trading is much more boring. It's index, volatility stuff. But to each their own. It's important to find your own trading style, and that goes for everything. It goes for, what you're doing when Splinterlands. It goes for stocks and bonds, mutual funds, options, commodities, currencies, crypto, whatever you're into. So you got to find something that fits with you. So and I will tell you, back in 2003, 2004, something like that, I was day trading my own account, and I did that because I didn't want to have a job. I was 20, whatever, 23, 24 at the time. I said, I don't want to go to work for the man. I want to work for myself, right? And started day trading. And I gave myself the worst job you could possibly have, because it was so ridiculous, especially in those times. Smartphones didn't exist. You had to be at the computer, and I'd be like trying to not go to the bathroom because I might miss a move in Apple or whatever it was. So crazy stuff. I do not recommend day trading, at least for me. It does not fit with my personality. I like the kind of smooth and steady swing trading type setups. So the point of all that is to match your trading style to your personality. Some people like to buy stuff, never look at it again, and wake up at at retirement age, hopefully have some money. Other people like the stress of being much more active. So literally the same situation, scaredy cat. So yeah, applies to the Splinterlands market right now. Prices are dropping, and for me, that's fine. I think it's going to be the last opportunity for cheap cards is going to be this period of time right now, and over the next however many weeks it takes to go through all this stuff. But that wraps it up for me. And coming up next, like I said, you're going to hear Scaredy Cat. There's going to be, you'll hear my outro, and then you'll hear 30-second MSP Waves talking about how you can advertise on MSP Waves if you like, and then it'll be into the Scaredy Cat Investor Show. So everybody, thanks for coming out. Thanks for tuning in. And replay will be up in sometime within 24 hours. And I'll put a post up, and we'll see you next time.